last week on the show, we talked about how Alamo Drafthouses in the DFW area had all closed down, and there were a lot of questions on why that happened. There's still questions on why that happened. And while that was huge news then, and Alamo Drafthouse went out and said, hey, we have a plan to acquire those theaters. Don't worry about it. No, they don't. They don't at all. They were blowing smoke up our asses because Sony Pictures Entertainment has acquired Alamo Drafthouse. The franchise was looking for buyers quietly, it said, but just a couple days ago they announced that Paramount Pictures Entertainment, or Sony Pictures Entertainment, would be acquiring them. Now, you might be wondering, how? Isn't that kind of a bad business practice for a movie studio to own theaters and maybe create a monopolization and keep other movies out of the theaters? You would be correct, because we had a law, we had movie distribution rules, not a law, in 1949 that forced other early Hollywood studios to sell off their theaters because it was unfair to everybody. Those were rescinded in 2020.
Of course they were.
Mm-hmm. And it has caused a couple of companies out there are buying. One that I didn't know about. Apparently Netflix is acquiring a lot of movie theaters out there. So is Sony with things like, well, we were asking because you pointed this out.
Yeah.
The Grandscape here was saying, oh, we'll honor those Sony tickets. And so was Look Cinema, which go look and see who owns those studios.
Yeah, it makes sense now.
Now, also, there is, unfortunately, the theaters in Dallas, they are not going to be acquired for a while because of the way that those people file for bankruptcy of the assets. It's going to be years before we get this stuff's tied up. Now, look, Sony might have the money where they can easily go out and say, hey, we're going to make it happen. But it's not. They're not opening up immediately. I still have a problem with this. Movie theaters movie companies should not be acquiring theaters. If you think for 1 second that they're going to be fair and everybody's going to get no, they are not.
No.
Absolutely not. Other movies will not get the best runs in those theaters, and I guarantee Sony Pictures will get front and center of attention. This is almost going to create some tribalism.
Trust situation.
Well, I mean, in 2020, it was rescinded. It was a Justice Department decision as well.
Of course it was.
Mm-hmm. What was going on in 2020? Let me think. Anyway, so well, it was planned before then, but they instituted it in 2020. So, dude, this is not
a broken
right.
system.
Mm-hmm. We don't even... Oh, also, we don't know what the terms of the deal were. They are not disclosing this yet.
Oh.
Maybe once it's finalized, but they did promise the theaters will still operate under the Alamo Drafthouse brand.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's a
that just doesn't
friggin'
matter.
lie. And, okay, let me... go ahead and read the statement.
Yeah.
Alamo Drafthouse has always held the craft of filmmaking and theatrical experience in high esteem, which are fundamental shared values between our companies. Chief Executive of Sony Pictures Motion Pictures Group, Tom Rothman, said. Now, look, I'm not going to lie. Movie theaters have been suffering in the past few years after the pandemic, after the strike. It's like we just got movie theaters back and then a strike happened.
Yep.
So has not recovered yet. And with things like Fall Guy going to home release 2 weeks after the movie theater, why would I go to the theater?
Yeah.
I mean, I pay for the Cinemark movies where you get a ticket a month and I get discounts on them. And I usually go with the family and everything, but I've even noticed my movie-going experience has dropped off.
Yeah.
And when I go, I don't see a lot of people. We saw Furiosa not too long ago. Excellent movie.
Amazing movie.
Excellent movie. But it didn't deliver the numbers, as they said.
It didn't deliver Marvel numbers. Like
how much money do you expect movies to make?
I've heard a range of 1.3 to 2 times its budget to break even.
That makes sense. But also, maybe you're putting the wrong money into the movies. Like, you know, when independent films back in the day started getting huge, there was like one independent film I watched which was really good. It was about time travel, and they filmed it in Dallas too. they were up against Sahara, by the way, whose wig budget was more than the production cost for this independent film that I love, and Sahara was crap.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder, like, maybe y'all just need to get back to the art of movie making and maybe drop some of the other stuff you're doing.
Also, movie making has never had the type of margins that other industries have. And several years ago, and I will talk about this till the day I die, a lot of studios were bought by tech companies like Apple and Amazon, both originally tech companies. Netflix operates like a tech company. And the margins that tech companies are used to working under are just not the same margins that movies make. And so they expect every movie to make $1 billion. And it's just not feasible, especially when you're making so many movies and putting out what you think is going to be a blockbuster virtually every week. It's just not going to happen. And you're not going to make $1 billion off of a $200 million budget every time. So you're just going to have to get used to that. And they're not. So they think, well, this movie's flop because it didn't make what I wanted it to make, even though that doesn't matter. And movie theaters are suffering for it, and the whole industry is suffering for it, and it's just not going to work out. And I don't know what the answer is, but you know what it's definitely not? Is studios buying movie
back
theaters.
to the original
That
point.
is a trust. That is an antitrust issue.
I mean, there was a reason we had this rule in place, and why it was a good idea to remove it, I don't know.
I mean,
I'd like to have a discussion with people.
The deregulation. But the fact that the new administration didn't reinstate that rule is bonkers.
Because now if they did, why are you trying to hurt movie theaters? I'm pretty sure. But this is this has gone off the rails, and I don't know. They bought it. They own it. Plus, I love Alamo Drafthouse. I really do. Yeah. And here we are. This sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. This is not a wait-and-see moment. This is not Assassin's Creed. This is going to be bad.
Yeah. We already know.
They are going to abuse this.
Yeah.
It's going to be, hey, guys, Morbius is back in theaters.
This isn't
Double feature of Madam Web.
This isn't a video game. This is capitalism. We know how that works.
Yeah.
Boy, Craven going to be on all screens.
Oof. Oof.